Hi everyone, Tracy DW here. How well versed are you about stories to be told? How often do you drop in on the podcast series? Are you an ardent co-listener, or do you casually eavesdrop from time to time? Maybe you're a first-time listener, and if so, then welcome. In this episode, the first of two parts, I'm inviting all my co-listeners and co-learners to take part in the Name That Podcast Challenge. Over the next two episodes, I'll take you back over past seasons and select a short audio clip from 5 episodes. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to name the podcast for each clip. Are you ready to take the test? Listen carefully to each clip, and if you think you've got the 5 correct answers from this first part episode, then send me a message via the website, email or on SpeakPipe with your name and contact email, and give the titles of the episode featured in this part 1 of Name That Podcast. One lucky winner will be chosen from part 1 and part 2, which will be published later on this month, and both winners will receive an exclusive free merch bundle, courtesy of Stories to be Told. Just visit the website for more information and you'll be able to see the details of what that merch bundle consists of. So, are we ready? Are we all set? Then let's get on with the first part episode of Name That Podcast. So here is clip number 1. Name That Podcast. Here's a quick account. After many years of teaching, I'd become dissatisfied with the misrepresentation of facts in the history curriculum in our schools and felt that a balance needed to be struck between British and global history, as well as the need to focus on Britain's colonial past. I've always had an interest in Britain's empire and felt that it should have more of a profile in the curriculum, particularly at the top end of primary school, which is where I work. It is my own research that has inspired these stories, podcasts and all the other work on the website. Stories to be Told is initially for learners between 9 to 14 years, but it's for anyone really who has an interest to learn more about Britain's colonial past and is looking for a starting point. Now, I know that the subject of Britain's colonial past is an emotive and a controversial subject, and some of the challenges that I faced were trying to define what Stories to be Told was, why I was creating it, why I felt the need to create something like it, and a need for something like it to be taught in school curriculum. The strapline, "History is a matter of fact or perspective," embodies my ideology of history not necessarily being either or, but having many perspectives often omitted or forgotten about, which presents a balance to knowledge that brings us closer to defining what is truth. Here's clip number 2. Name That Podcast. The Haitian Revolution began on an August night in 1791, where it wasn't long before Africans claimed their first real victim in capturing and burning the Cap Français, the French seat of colonial power on the island. A former enslaved African, Toussaint Louverture, 1743 to 1803, a truly dynamic and forceful military leader, was instrumental in gathering the masses and morphing them into an army that was so effective that during the course of the next decade it was able to withstand the attack of any anti-revolutionist including tens of thousands of British redcoats between 1794 to 99. By 1800, Napoleon was desperate to maintain his overseas empire and made a last-ditch attempt to not only regain San Domingo from the... Here's clip number 3. Name that podcast. And whether we each can define for ourselves what the new norm will be. But there is no progress and change without struggle, and many have been thrown into a crucible of crisis and trauma where our norms can no longer be ignored, as there isn't the cushion of work, school and socialising to protect us from harsh realities of what was once hidden within our personal and home lives. This wind of change has revealed many hidden agendas, both good and bad. It has exposed the weaknesses in our disposition and in our relationships, as well as the strengths that we all share in nurturing our connections and reconnecting with one another. We rediscovered the hidden gold mines of cleaner air and the sounds of nature, and what we took for granted we finally took notice of and swore an oath that we would do better. Never before has the world been brought so closely together, and we can almost feel our interconnectedness, not just through social media, but also through meeting platforms such as Zoom. Within this virtual proximity, we all learnt to adapt, and it is no longer invention that is the mother of necessity, but innovation, as what is tangible becomes more worthless and transient, while the virtual and the digital increase in value. The wind is such an appropriate metaphor for change. It is a force that is ever present, but is only seen through what it acts upon. Clip number 4. Name that podcast. Up until the point of Mo's initial disclosure to Mr. Watkinson, he was a minor with a false name, false ID and no legal status to reside in the UK. He was a victim of modern-day slavery, working as a child carer while he himself was being looked after. His predicament classified him as a child in need as well as a child at risk from harm. He is a study of slavery in modern times, but fortunately, he has survived to tell his story, though millions of others have not been able to do this. We do not need other sources that could taint or misguide our inquiry. We can see and hear it firsthand. It is Mo who can control his narrative and write the history. However, his story is one of two narratives. One narrative being that he was born in Mogadishu and came to the UK at the age of 8 with his mother and 2 brothers to live with his father. The other narrative was that he was born in Somaliland. And finally, clip number 5. Name that podcast. So why now? As with Prime Minister Harold Macmillan's speech in 1960, Britain understands the power of the written and spoken word, as well as the importance of timing, and has always been in tune with the need for change. We could be cynical and just write it off as yet another episode in political correctness, of growing trends in private corporations who profited from slavery, involved in the reparations debate, or the monarchy debate as to whether it should remain as it is, be abolished, or change its form and structure and be slimmed down. Either way, King Charles's acknowledgement and support for further research could go some way to ease this disquieting discord. We know that as a man, the new monarch has a deep conscience for significant issues that he cares passionately about and has taken an active part in being vocal about them. But for how long has he been carrying this particular issue in the recesses of his mind? Is this how he will make his mark upon the monarchy? Is this the legacy that he will leave behind? Is this the foreknowledge that I spoke about in my open letter to the monarch in a previous episode that has translated into foresight of understanding that the wider context for the monarchy's position in British society, Commonwealth, and the world needs to change? So there you have it, the first 5 clips from the first part episode of the Name That Podcast Challenge. If you'd like to enter the challenge, then you know what to do. You can email me at info@storiestobetold.com or visit the website where you'll see further details about the merch bundle. Good luck, everybody. Well, I'm off to finish my second assignment for my advanced diploma. I have been so busy over the last couple of months and it's just been a bit of a whirlwind, but I'm still enjoying the ride. So stay safe, stay well, stay blessed. I'm looking forward to your answers. I can't wait to hear from you all. And I'll see you once again for part 2 on the next page.